What if the person you trusted most in your family was the one who buried your future under layers of lies? That's the chilling question that haunted me for years, until a single leaked document shattered the illusion of our simple family life. It all began in the winter of 2006, when my grandmother, Elena, the unyielding matriarch of our modest Midwestern clan, passed away suddenly from a heart attack at 78. She had built a quiet empire through shrewd investments in real estate and stocks during the booming 80s and 90 segundos, amassing a portfolio worth millions, far more than any of us knew. Or so I thought. Elena was a force of nature, a woman who had emigrated from Italy in the 1950s, with nothing but a suitcase and a fierce determination to carve out a better life. She worked 2-job seamstress by day, bookkeeper by night, while raising 3 children single-handedly after my grandfather's early death in a factory accident. Her stories, told over steaming cups of espresso in our cluttered kitchen, were legends in our family. She'd recount how she spotted undervalued properties in crumbling neighborhoods, flipping them for profits that funded her stock market ventures. Patience and cunning, mio caro, she'd say to me, her only grandchild, with a wink. That's how you build an empire from ashes. I hung on every word, dreaming of the day I'd inherit not just her wisdom, but perhaps a piece of that invisible wealth. But Elena was secretive about the details. She kept her financial ledgers locked in a heavy oak desk in her bedroom, away from prying eyes. Family is everything, she'd insist, but money, that can tear it apart. In the days following her funeral, the air in our old Victorian home thickened with unspoken tensions. The house itself seemed to mourn her, a grand but fading relic from the 1890s, with peeling wallpaper and groaning floorboards that echoed our grief. My Aunt Clara, Elena's youngest daughter and my mother's sister, took charge of the arrangements with an eerie efficiency. Clara was 52 then, a perpetual spinster who had never married, never left the small town of Elmwood, Illinois, where we'd all grown up. She lived alone in a cramped apartment above a laundromat, clipping coupons from the Sunday paper and complaining endlessly about the rising cost of groceries. "Life's too expensive for dreams," she'd mutter. Her thin lips pursed in perpetual disapproval, but on the day of the funeral, as snow blanketed the cemetery like a shroud, something in her demeanor shifted. Her eyes, usually dull with resignation, gleamed with a quiet intensity as she sorted through Elena's papers. I remember the reading of the will, or what passed for it, in our living room that evening. The family gathered around the scarred oak table, my mother, Sophia, still in her black dress, her face etched with lines of sorrow. My father, a quiet mechanic who deferred to the women in the family, and me, just 25, fresh out of college, with a degree in business administration and a mountain of student loans. Aunt Clara unfolded a single sheet of paper, her hands steady despite the chill in the room. "Mother didn't leave much," she announced, her voice a practiced calm that brooked no argument. "Just some trinkets, the house, and a small savings account to cover debts. We'll sort it out quietly among ourselves." My mother's eyes welled up. She nodded along, too shattered by the loss to probe deeper. Elena had been her anchor, and now that anchor was gone. As for me, I was young, naive, my head full of ambitions for a career in finance. I asked tentatively about the investments. Elena had always hinted at the stocks, the properties. Clara's eyes darted away, fixing on a faded photograph of Elena on the mantel. "Nothing substantial, dear." Mother was frugal to the end. We accepted the narrative without question. Elena had lived modestly, and so would we. It was easier that way, in the fog of grief. But as the weeks turned to months, subtle dissonances began to creep in. Clara, who had always been the family's penny pincher, started making small but noticeable changes. She traded her threadbare coats for ones with fur collars, claiming they'd been gifts from old friends. Her visits to our home became more frequent, laden with tales of frugality that rang increasingly hollow. "I won a cruise in a radio contest," she'd say offhandedly one Christmas, regaling us with stories of Caribbean sunsets while we exchanged homemade gifts around a sparse tree. My mother would smile weakly, happy for her sister's good fortune, but I couldn't shake the unease. Why did Clara's apartment suddenly boast new appliances? How could she afford those contest wins on her meager salary as a librarian's assistant? Life moved on, as it does, in the grinding rhythm of the ordinary. We stayed in that Victorian house, its rooms echoing with memories of Elena's laughter. My parents aged there, my father retiring early due to back problems from years at the auto shop, my mother picking up part-time work at a local diner to make ends meet. I married my college sweetheart, Lisa, in a simple courthouse ceremony in 2010. No lavish reception, just sandwiches and cake in the backyard. We started a family soon after. Our son, Alex, born in 2012, followed by daughter Mia in 2015. I landed a job as an accountant at a mid-sized firm in Chicago, commuting 2 hours each way to avoid uprooting the family. The pay was decent, but not transformative. We drove second-hand cars that broke down more often than not, patched leaks in the roof during rainstorms, and budgeted every penny for groceries and bills. Those 2 decades were a tapestry of quiet struggles and fleeting joys, woven with the thread of what I now recognize as deception. Birthdays were modest affairs. Store-bought cakes with candles flickering in the dim light. Gifts wrapped in newspaper because wrapping paper was a luxury. Alex's first bike was a rusty hand-me-down from a neighbor. Mia's dance lessons were cut short when the fees rose. I watched my children grow, their eyes bright with innocence, and felt the pang of limitation. Why can't we go to Disney like other kids? Alex asked once, at age 8, after a classmate's vacation tailies. I ruffled his hair and promised someday. But inside, resentment simmered not toward him, but toward the ghost of Elena. Her stories of smart investments haunted me. Where had it all gone? Why had she left us nothing but echoes? Aunt Clara remained a constant presence, her visits a mix of comfort and subtle barbs. She'd arrive with a casserole or a pie, her modest sedan parked in the driveway, but there were always those cracks in the facade. A diamond brooch pinned to her blouse, inherited from a distant cousin, expensive perfumes wafting from her skin, samples from the mall. Vacations to Europe she won through obscure lotteries. I chalked it up to luck, or perhaps my own jealousy after all. Clara had no family of her own, no children to drain her resources. But, deep down, a seed of doubt took root. Once, in 2018, during a family dinner, I overheard her on the phone in the hallway. The portfolio's performing well, sell the tech stocks, buy more real estate. My ears perked up, but when I asked later, she waved it off. Just helping a friend with advice, dear. Nothing more. The emotional weight of those years pressed down like an invisible hand, shaping our lives in ways both profound and insidious. My marriage to Lisa strained under the financial pressures. Arguments flared over unpaid bills, unspoken dreams deferred. We could have more if only, double quotes, she'd trail off, her eyes distant. I felt like a failure, the provider who couldn't provide. Resentment toward Elena grew, twisting into a quiet bitterness. Why the hints of wealth if there was none? Had her stories been mere fantasies, embellished tales to entertain a wide-eyed grandchild? The house itself became a symbol of stagnation, its walls closing in, its secrets buried in the attic trunks we never opened. My mother, frail with age, would sometimes reminisce about Elena's empire, her voice laced with confusion. She always said there was more, she'd murmur. But Clara would change the subject swiftly. Holidays amplified the ache. Thanksgivings with turkey stretched thin. Christmases where the tree lights flickered on borrowed electricity. My children's college funds grew anemically, a few $100s here and there from tax refunds. Alex excelled in school, dreaming of engineering. Mia showed promise in art, but opportunities slipped away. Summer camps unaffordable, extracurriculars sacrificed. I lay awake nights, staring at the ceiling cracks, pondering the what-ifs. What if Elena had left even a fraction? A down payment on a better home, seed money for a business. The ghost of unfulfilled potential shadowed every decision, every milestone. Yet amid the hardship, there were moments of pure, unadulterated joy that kept us afloat. Alex's laughter as he scored his first soccer goal on a patched field. Mia's homemade cards, crayoned with love. Family game nights around the table, where stories of Elena brought warmth, despite the chill. These were the anchors that prevented total despair, reminders that wealth wasn't everything but, oh, how it could have eased the burdens. As the years blurred into the 2020s, technology crept into our lives, offering glimpses beyond our bubble. Social media showed classmates thriving, vacations, new homes, retirements funded by inheritances. Envy gnawed, but I pushed it down. Clara, now in her 70s, slowed her visits, claiming health issues, but her luck persisted. A new car in 2024, a steal from an auction. Whispers from neighbors about her secret life, dismissed as gossip. It was a life scripted by silence, until one fateful day in 2026, when everything unraveled. Scrolling through a routine online properties search on a rainy March afternoon, my cursor hovered over a listing that didn't belong. A luxury condo in Florida, deed transferred in 2007 to Aunt Clara. The signature, not Elena's. My pulse thundered, the illusion cracked wide open. What secrets had been buried in those decades of deception? The whispered legacy was about to roar. Imagine scrolling through a routine online property search, only to stumble upon a deed that rewrites your entire family history. Proof that the woman you called aunt had been playing God with your destiny. That was my reality on a rainy March afternoon in 2026, when a massive digital archive leak from a county records office exposed thousands of old documents to the public web. Buried in the chaos was a property deed for a luxury condo in Florida, dated 2007, just months after Grandma's death. T-Ona, Aunt Clara, but the signature on the transfer looked off too perfect. Too, unlike Elena's looping scrawl I'd seen on old birthday cards. My heart raced. This wasn't the family history I knew. We had no Florida ties, no hidden assets, or did we? The modest life we'd endured for 20 years suddenly felt like a cruel joke. A scripted illusion maintained by one woman's greed. The discovery hit me like a thunderclap, jolting me from the numbness of routine. Primera wa ese 45. By then my hair streaked with gray from years of financial strain. My hands calloused, not from labor but from gripping the steering wheel during endless commutes. Lisa and I had just celebrated our 16th anniversary, with a quiet dinner at home, pasta from the pantry, wine from a discount store. The kids were teenagers. Alex, 14, buried in books dreaming of MIT. Mia, 11, sketching worlds she couldn't afford to explore. That afternoon, alone in my home office, a converted closet crammed with files, I stared at the screen, the rain pattering against the window like accusatory fingers. The deed listed the condo as a gift from Elena, but the notary stamp was from a firm Clara had once mentioned in passing. Doubt blossomed into suspicion, then fury. How many lies had woven this web? I printed the document, my hands shaking, and paced the room, memories flooding back, connecting the dots from those modest decades. I dove headfirst into an amateur investigation that consumed my nights. Sleep became a luxury I couldn't afford. I'd lie awake, replaying Clara's offhand comments, her lucky breaks. The emotional toll was immediate, and visceral waves of betrayal crashing over me, leaving me breathless. Elena had been my idol, the woman who taught me resilience. To think her wishes had been twisted, it felt like losing her all over again. I confided in Lisa that evening, showing her the deed over lukewarm coffee. Her eyes widened, then narrowed in anger. That witch, she whispered, echoing my unspoken thoughts. We pored over old family photos, searching for clues, and Clara's smiles were they smug, knowing. The house, once a sanctuary, now felt tainted, its walls whispering secrets. The next step was professional help. I hired a forensic auditor, a grizzled expert named Harlan Reed, who operated out of a cluttered office in downtown Chicago. At 60 with a salt and pepper beard and eyes, sharp as tacks. Harlan had seen it all: corporate embezzlements, contested wills. Family fraud is the ugliest, he grumbled during our first meeting, adjusting his bifocals over a stack of preliminary documents I'd gathered. Blood makes it personal. I handed him copies of the will Clara had produced years ago, a sparse document that left everything to her, with my name scratched out in what looked like a hasty forgery. Harlan's brow furrowed as he examined it under a magnifying glass. Inconsistencies here. See, and the signature lifted. I'd bet my license on it. He agreed to take the case on contingency. Sensing the depth of the deception, we reconstructed the timeline meticulously, piece by piece, like archaeologists unearthing a lost civilization. It started with Elena's true will, drafted in 2005 by her longtime attorney, Mr. Bianchi, an old family friend from the Italian community. We'd tracked him down, now retired in Arizona, his voice frail over the phone. Elena was clear, he recalled. Everything to the grandchild: of stocks, bonds, properties. Clara was executor, but only to oversee. The original will named me as primary heir to an $8 million portfolio. Blue chip stocks accumulated over decades, rental properties in Illinois and beyond. Even that Florida condo bought as a retirement haven, Clara, entrusted with execution, had intercepted it. Instead of filing it, she'd forged a new version, using Elena's signatures from old checks and letters, doctored with precision. For 20 years, she'd quietly liquidated assets, siphoning funds into hidden accounts while feeding us the narrative of poverty. The evidence mounted like a storm-gathering force. Bank records subpoenaed with Harlan's help revealed transfers starting in 2007. $50,000 here, $100,000 there, funneled to offshore accounts in Clara's name. She'd invested wisely, growing the stolen wealth to over $12 million by 2026. Her modest life was a masterful performance. The spinster aunt clipping coupons while jetting to Paris on first-class tickets, her contests a cover for lavish spending. We found receipts, jewelry from Tiffany's, a villa rental in Tuscany, even a private yacht charter. The emotional betrayal hit like a tidal wave, tears of rage mixed with grief for the life stolen from my family. How many dreams had died because of her greed? Alex's potential scholarships we couldn't supplement. Mia's art supplies limited to dollar store crayons. Lisa's whispered desires for a family vacation, always deferred. I imagined alternate timelines, a bigger Ome college funds, overflowing, retirement secure. Instead, we'd scraped by, our bonds tested but unbroken until now. Confronting Clara was inevitable, but Harlan advised caution. Build the case airtight, he said. We delved deeper, hiring a handwriting expert who confirmed the forgeries. Pressure points mismatched. Loops to uniform. Digital forensics on the leaked archives revealed metadata timestamps showing the original will scanned in 2005. Then, altered. Clara's silence had been calculated, her visits a way to monitor us, ensure the deception held. I remembered a 2015 Easter dinner, Clara, sipping tea, asking casually about my job. Still commuting. Tough life. Her pitying smile now seemed predatory. The pain deepened. She wasn't just a thief, but a manipulator who'd watched us struggle, perhaps deriving twisted satisfaction from it. As the investigation intensified, so did the strain on my family. Lisa supported me, but worry lines etched her face. What if she fights dirty? She'd ask. The kids sensed the tension. Alex grew quieter, Mia's drawings darker. I shielded them as best I could, framing it as family history research. But inside, anger festered, a burning need for justice. Harlan became a confidant, sharing stories of similar cases to bolster my resolve. Most fold when confronted, he assured. We prepared a dossier, timelines, affidavits, financial trails. The audit wasn't just numbers. It was a reckoning of souls. The climax unfolded in a sterile courtroom in Elmwood, 6 months after the leak. The judge, a no-nonsense woman in her 50s, presided over the probate hearing. Clara arrived looking frail, her once smug demeanor cracked, hunched shoulders, avoiding my gaze. Harlan presented the evidence with surgical precision, projected slides of forged signatures, bank ledgers glowing on screens. This isn't oversight, he declared. It's premeditated fraud. Witnesses testified, Mr. Bianchi Biabidio, confirming the original will. A banker detailing suspicious transfers. Clara's lawyer objected, claiming misunderstandings. But the tide turned when Harlan revealed a hidden email trail from Clara's sold account messages to a shady notary arranging the forgeries. On the stand, Clara broke. Under cross-examination, her facade crumbled. I deserved it, she whispered, tears streaming. Mother, always favored youth a golden grandchild. I cared for her, wiped her brow in the end. What did I get? Nothing. The courtroom hushed. Her confession poured out, jealousy festering since childhood, amplified by Elena's favoritism. She'd hidden the will in a safe deposit box, forging the new one in a fit of rage. For years, guilt gnawed, but greed won. I thought time would bury it, she sobbed. The judge's gavel fell like judgment. The estate reclaimed, Clara ordered to repay with interest, facing potential charges for fraud. Victory tasted bittersweet, a hollow echo in my chest. The millions were mine, funds transferred, properties we sold the Florida condo, funding Alex's tuition, Mia's art school, a dream home for Lisa and me, but the family bonds shattered forever. Clara disowned, her pleas for forgiveness met with silence. My mother, heartbroken, passed soon after. the scandal accelerating her decline. In reclaiming my legacy, I unearthed not just wealth, but the profound pain of trust betrayed. The audit healed some wounds, but scars remained reminders that blood can cut deeper than any knife. Yet, in the aftermath, a strange peace settled. We traveled as a family to Italy, tracing Elena's roots. Her story's alive again. The money brought freedom, but the true inheritance was resilience. Same Elena instilled, now, with shadows lifted. I wonder, what other secrets lie waiting in the archives of our lives? The silence broken, the estate's reckoning complete, but the human cost lingers. A cautionary tale etched in my soul.